Hello, great ones. Welcome to the Live and Be Great podcast. I'm your host, Latanya Sampson McDonald. I am a life coach and a registered marriage and family therapist associate. And this podcast was created to motivate, educate, and inspire all to live and be great. On today's episode, I wanted to talk about passion, okay? Because I noticed that in my area, when looking at, some of my clients and different friends and the vibration I'm catching whenever I do decide to go on social media, there's a lot of people that are struggling to find their passion. So I thought it was important to talk about this. And I want to try to help a little bit by talking about me finding my passion for dance. Last season, I think I started off the season talking about my passion for healing people, right? Through therapy, but I don't think I gave y'all a story time. Uh, I don't think I gave y'all a story time about this whole dance thing that I do. I think I brush on it and I tell y'all how much I love it. But I tell you how much it means to me, but I don't think I walk through the story about how I knew, like how I decided. So you guys are in for a treat today. Some more personal time uh, as to how I find my passion, and I'm just hoping that it helps and it inspires you even just a little bit to look for yours, right? And maybe give you some confidence into finding it. Okay. Okay. So dancing. um, I know I first started dancing at parties, of course, weddings when I was a little girl. Uh, was very shy. Okay. But when the music come on, you couldn't tell me nothing. And I was a huge fan of Michael Jackson. Okay? I was, oh my goodness, listen. Michael Jackson was my everything. And I'm going to age myself, which is fine because, hey, I don't look it. I'm still gorgeous and still going. Well, I'm 36, and I think I was born in 1986, y'all. Cause sometimes I forget. I don't know something about these 30s. It's like it's just a little blur. Cause I'm just, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's part of the healing process when you're grateful for life and you know, like the uglies that you go through during the healing process. I don't know. And I I have to figure out how to explain that to y'all one of these days. But anyways, let's get back on topic. So Michael Jackson, that was that was my everything, okay? Everybody who knows me personally knows that was my guy, okay? So much to the point where back in the day, MTV used to have Michael Jackson Week. Y'all remember that? Yeah, 80s, 90s babies. Um, they used to have, and back forward, sorry, and before the end, I don't want to just limit it to us millennials. But anyways, they used to have that, and I remember having the Thriller album, like the actual record, not the CD. Okay, I remember having it, and my parents had a record player, and I used to play it every day, every day, every day. So then when MTV had the Michael Jackson week, everybody knew not to mess with me. Okay? And the only person that would mess with me is my middle brother, the one who we fight like cats and dogs, okay? That one. Um, he would, you know, what did he do the last time? The last time I was recording because we had the VHS, okay, and so everybody knew I'm gonna record my show so I could keep watching it over and over again. Okay, I'm gonna be in the TV room. Everybody know don't mess with Tanya after school during Michael Jackson week. Leave her alone. Okay. um and my brother one time, the middle one time, he came in and he unplugged the VCR while I was recording. Oh my gosh, I cried to break my heart. And my brother that is close to me, the one that was born right before me, he's not really like a fighter or anything like that. But that day, he was like, I don't care if you're taller than me. I do not care. I'm tired of you messing with my sister. I'm sick of you. And they got in a little scuffle, and my mom had to run upstairs and break it up. And I never see them fight before because they were very, very close, very, very close. But my brother before me, we had a tight relationship, so he was just very protective during the time. Um, so, but yeah, that it meant a lot to me to watch him dance, the way he sung, like I can it was like a fantasy, like a dream, like just watching this great talent and also understanding his trauma a little bit, right? A little bit, not so much, but he was just relatable when it came to how his father was, because also back then in the 90s we got the Jacksons in American Dream, right? Now you can't take the these biopics now, they tell as much as they can, but they never really tell the full story, and they don't often have that element of mental health that people need to be aware of, right? That affects families and affects childhood trauma. And yeah, so I don't want to talk too much because I could give y'all like 10, 20 episodes just talking about Michael Jackson, but I ain't gonna do that to y'all. But boom, he was the one, right? When I looked at performances and singing and things of that nature. And fun fact, fun fact, I gravitated more towards dancing. I love singing, but because I felt like I was better at dancing, I kind of chickened out. Okay, so I'm still working on that. I'm still a work in progress. It was so bad that I was in the youth choir, and when it was time to sing, and I'm talking about from kindergarten on up, I'd be lip singing. And my choir director was like, Tanya, I know what you're doing. Stop it, okay? But art in general, right? Passion for it. Passion for the singing. There were times where I did like go ahead and sing. I remember I had somebody that was always getting the solos, and the summer that, well, I did a talent show and I sung Tevin Campbell. So that's when my choir director was like, mm-mm. Girl, I was shaking the whole entire time. I was at church talent show. Ooh, it's crazy. I don't know how old I think it was like 6 or 7, maybe 8. But yeah, I was shaking the entire time. I was so nervous. But that's when my choir director, was like, like you actually can sing. And I want to say the summer that I left that church and we moved to Georgia, we went to church summer camp and I finally like got more shine than the girl that they was always giving the solo to. She was very mean, so I kind of felt good. But it was like I always had to be pushed. Somebody else had to see it in me before I saw it in myself. Right? And sidebar, that is also something that can be a gift and a curse, right? It's great to have people that motivate you and let you know, hey, you're actually really good at this thing. This is your gift. But when you don't believe it, you can miss so many opportunities, okay? But anyways, fast forward to, I would say, um my mom would put me in ballet and things of that nature, but sometimes we didn't always have the money to keep that up, right? So I couldn't really stay in it constantly. So in school, I would try out for like cheerleading, I would do the step team when I was in elementary school. Um, but music, like I would join their choir and their performances and things of that nature. So that always helped. And then I would say around when we moved to Georgia, um, that is when I joined the step team there. And this was a step team, it was different. This is a step team that was based off of like a HBCU, because a lot of the culture in the South is wrapped up into HBCU. So if you go to an all black school, you're going to have sororities and fraternities that have their culture has a heavy influence on you. So that step team was a tad bit different than the step team up north. Okay, they actually incorporated dancing like at the end, and I didn't know at the time that college, right, step teams would do that. I mean, we watch A Different World and things of that nature, but um that had a heavy influence. So I would usually, when I'm in rehearsal, I wouldn't go full force, right? So my instructors, my coaches at the time would only catch how powerful I was at the performance, and that would make them so upset. And that actually lasted even after I graduated undergrad, after my dance major. Like, you know what? I'm lying. It didn't last because when I got to college, we had to audition if we wanted to be on stage or if we wanted to be on the field. We had to audition after we learned the dance to see where everybody's going to be placed and if you got a chance to be in that dance or perform at all. Okay. So, so middle school, sorry if I go all the way around, I apologize, but y'all gotta get the details, okay? Y'all gotta get the details because everything counts. Um, so in middle school, I was on a step team, and I remember we were dancing to, what was it? Go big girl, what you gonna do? Go big girl, what you gonna do? I'm sure only the Southerners know about that song, okay? um, and we were dancing to what, Take Me There, I Wanna Go There, like that era, okay, of music. We were dancing to that, and I remember my coach making me do the dance by myself, like the steps. I was in the back anyway, so I kind of could like hide and not really, but I was into it. But as far as like putting my all into it, it was kind of like a surprise element that I wanted to keep for show day. And my anxiety as well, which I didn't know at the time. That would take over when I was in rehearsal. So I remember she made me do the dances by myself because she was like, "You don't know the dance and you not giving me enough." And my goodness, like put on the spot like that, it was kind of discouraging. But proofs are wrong. I didn't know the dance. I was just very timid, with my movements. But performance time, like she caught me, so it was confusing as to why in rehearsal it's like, okay, I got you in the back because you not really giving your all, but I can see you and point you out from all the steppers when you actually are on stage. So, like, this is annoying. And I didn't know what it was. I was just like, I don't know. That's just what I do. So that was like, that era in middle school, that was like, a pivotal moment where it just made me happy. I didn't know it was my passion at first, but I don't know. I love doing it. I love doing everything that had to do with art. I was in band, all of that. But when it came to dancing, that was my thing, right? So I stayed on the step team the whole entire time, did those performances and things of that nature. Now, when it came time to choose my high school that I went to, I didn't want to go to the high school in my area, and my mom didn't want me to go to the high school in my area either. She was looking at SAT scores. But the marching band culture in the South, okay, they incorporate dance. So I was not as interested as in playing the instrument. I was more interested in the fact that on halftime shows, the band dances. During the football game, the band dances and they have the dance line that's in the front. Okay? So in high school, my brother at the time, and I think he had just turned 30, he discovered his passion for dance, and it took him like all that time. Like he was working at the airport and he, was in New York, and I think I can't remember what his story is particularly when he discovered. I just know that he was 30 and it just took him a minute to finally be like, okay, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go for it. And he ended up being chosen to be a part of the Alvin Ailey Dance Company. And he was also an instructor, okay, at 30. But my brother looks young. Like if you see him today, he's almost 50. Like he's 49. He just turned 49 on July 11th. This is my oldest brother. You can't. We got good genes, y'all. Okay, you thank my parents. We got good genes, so we don't never look our age. But he has his own dance company now, okay, which is very, very successful. But when he told me that that was his passion and I saw him dance, oh, it was a wrap. I already looked up to him because he was always so sweet and kind. When he did come around, like the firstborns, they usually the first ones to leave the house at the earliest age. And you guys know I've talked about this in my Canto review about the family dynamics. But anyways, my brother would always surprise me out of nowhere and take me to buy some sneakers or something. He'd always, it was always sneakers. Like sometimes, even when I needed new sneakers, he would come and surprise us from New Jersey because we were in Georgia out of nowhere. And that would be, I was like, let's go. You already know what's up. And he was doing that up until I was in college, buy me some sneakers. But I definitely we connected on that level as far as the dancing. So in high school, I chose to go to the Stevenson High School marching band. Okay? Stevenson High School marching band. And I would say, they danced, right? To me, it was the best band. So we did whatever we could to get me in that school. Whatever we could to get me in that school because I wanted to be a part of that marching band. I wanted to dance, okay? Um, and of course, I was more interested in the girls that danced in the front because I'm like, this is what I'm really here for. So when I got up enough confidence to audition, I didn't make the team because I think I wanted it so bad, but that fear of not believing in myself, it just really took a toll on me. It just really did. And I just felt so much pressure um during that time to be perfect. Like when it came time for that particular audition, I froze. I forgot the whole routine. And it was crazy because I was even helping people with the routine for that. And it was so painful. I remember talking to my dad about it, and of course, he's like, "It's okay, you'll get it next time." Right? But I, I was heartbroken because everybody actually did expect me to make that team, but audition day, I was lost. Okay, so back to marching band I went, having to watch the girls dance in front, but still able to give my little all. And then there was an instructor that decided to have a basketball dance team. Okay? Basketball dance team. So I could sort of like balance during basketball season. I could dance, right? So I'm like, let me at least try this. Let me try this. I'm gonna try again, you know, and just see. Let me see if I'm gonna make it. And I practiced so hard. Um, it was also a time where learning the routine, I wasn't giving my all, but I was like, you know what? Day up, I'm gonna have my hair done. I'm gonna practice and I'm not gonna let this chance pass me up. Okay? I'm just not. So audition day come around and I'm gone. Like I'm floating. I don't even remember. Like I blacked out and I just went for it. Okay? I just went for it. And so nervous because in high school, y'all know they put like your numbers and stuff on the front of the school, right? And I think my number was like 13 or 16 or something. And I went up to the thing. I went up to the school, heart racing, heart beating. And I looked and I saw my number. And I was just so excited. Oh, I was so excited. And that day, we had to meet after school because the instructor was a teacher at the school, which usually that's how it goes at schools. If you have like an instructor or a coach or something like that, they also teach a particular subject or whatever. But anyways, we had to meet her. So I remember excited. Like, I don't even remember what happened during that day. I think I was just telling my friends I made the dance team. Some of my friends had auditioned with me. Cause I think also, yeah, cause during that time I also auditioned for cheerleading and it just didn't work. Like I wasn't stiff enough, I wasn't sharp enough, and I was just like 2 for 2. Like come on, you know. I was just frustrated not making the dance line and not making the cheerleading squad. And oh, I hate that I'm skipping over stuff. But before these auditions, there was a talent show. Okay, my freshman year, and my three best friends at the time, we did it, and we killed it. Of course, I know we killed it so much that I split my pants. But after I felt how that felt, I'm like, okay, I'm auditioning for everything, right? That comes up. And after the talent show was when we had those auditions for those different types of things, I believe. But anyways, sorry that I skipped over that. But anyway, so the night of my first practice, we got to meet at the classroom for the dance team, basketball dance team that I just made. And I had my glasses on. I look completely different from audition day, okay? Trust and believe. I had my glasses on, hair was different, everything. And the instructor was like, um, are you lost? And I was like, no, I'm here because I made the team. She's like, you sure? She said, what was your number? And I told her, and she's like, oh, you did. Okay. You look, girl, you look different. I couldn't recognize you. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Like, because when y'all watch me dance versus watching me talk on the screen, them two different people. Okay? Those are two different people. So I kind of understood why she said I look different. And she was just like, I ain't pick you. Who is this geek with this big old book bag? Because my book bag was always packed with everything. I always overdid it because that was just, I was always like a prepper type of personality, like had to carry everything. If I had a purse, everything was in that purse. If I had a book bag, everything, because I always wanted to be prepared. And that may also have to do with, the signs of my anxiety and things of that nature, which I didn't know. But anyways, so that was a wonderful experience because when I made the team, there were some girls who, if they didn't audition for the band dance team and they were in band as well, it was kind of like a moment where we still got our shine, right? Like if we didn't make that dance team and we got another shot, it was kind of like, I don't want to say like a rival gang. Maybe let's say like a rival sorority type thing because we would come late to band practice together in our little dance outfit, while the other dance team was dancing in front of the band and we have our instruments coming late to the field and everybody knew why we was late because we was on this other dance team. So it was kind of like we redeemed ourselves, right? Because we still had an opportunity to shine and show this other part of us, right? So that was just like a beautiful experience for me to be a part of something like that. And the auditions, we had to audition at some point. And I remember, my coach getting on me about, controlling my arms and giving her full energy during practice. See, I had that issue, kept running into that issue. Um, so she was like, you know what? I'm going to have auditions before y'all get on this stage. Because it's usually just everybody perform. But no, our first performance, she was like, you going to audition. Right? And she just knew I was going to be in the back. And I was like, nope, not today. Not today. Like, even the whole team just knew because I just wasn't, I don't know, it was just the anxiety, the pressure. I just felt more free when I was in front of the audience. I don't know, maybe it'll come to me on how I can explain that to you guys. But anyways, audition day came on and we had like 5 or 6 dances to learn and we had to audition for each one to see where we was going to go. And the favorite song that I liked, it was Kilo Ali, I Want to Show You, or Show Me Love, right? Fast song. And I was like, I'm finna listen, I'm about to kill it. Forget what she got to say. Forget what anybody doubting me. Since we gonna have to audition, I'm finna kill it. Like y'all not finna have me at auditions looking crazy, okay? So, I audition and I blow them away, and I get the spot in the front with the hardest dance, okay? I was killing it. So that's when I finally kind of I gained my coach's trust with that. So that lasted, I would say, up until my junior year, and she decided to quit. Like she resigned from the school, and I was like, so who gonna do the dance team? What's going on? And we didn't have an instructor, y'all. So they told me when I went to whoever I went to, I think I went to vice principal or something. And I was like, well, we don't, our teacher leaving, our coach leaving, what we gonna do? And she was like, well, y'all, you gonna have to find another coach. I was like, okay, bet. Y'all, I stayed after school and asked every last teacher. Okay? Every last teacher in the school. Can you please, even if they didn't dance, I didn't discriminate on race or nothing, okay? Can you please, all right? Because we really want to dance. We really want to dance. I was determined, okay? Even though I got to dance with the band, with my instrument, I was determined to have this outlet where I could just dance, okay? And be in the front and share that experience of performing. Like, I was like, I'm not giving it up. I was determined, okay? So it was this one teacher, little skinny little white lady, short, very short, very soft spoken. I was like, could you please? And she was like, you know what? Yes, and I do have another teacher. She's gone for the day, but I'm gonna ask her to do it with me, right? And she got the teacher to do it with her. So y'all, I saved the dance team. I was just so I was just so happy to be able to do that. And actually, yeah, that was my junior year. That was my junior year. So we got a new dance coach, and they didn't really know nothing about dancing, so they ended up bringing in this choreographer at the time for the dance team, and then she just ended up taking over completely afterwards. And that was another one where she was like, Tanya, that she had to watch me during the stage. She's like, I just don't get it. Like, why in rehearsal, it's just you just lazy, you just this, you just that. And I don't want to have to wait because I don't trust that. I don't want to have to wait. You've been playing games with me. I want to have to wait till game day till you're actually on stage for me to see that you can dance. Okay? But I created a tight bond with her. Her name was Kelly, and she has a dance team in Compton now, you know. Um, and they were on Bring It as well. Like she has an awesome dance team. But that was just it was just a fun experience. So still not connecting that dance is my passion and that's all I want to do, right? Because you get pressured by your parents, especially if you got immigrant parents. Doctor, lawyer, okay? Period. Nothing else. My mom did. You would. My mom would want me to sing, right? She would have put everything into singing, if I had decided to do that. But dancing, not so much. I kind of had to work with that on my own. That was always a debate, with her. And so after that, and this is getting kind of long, I'm going to have to do a part two. Finale going to have to be a part two for this one. Okay, so let me continue. Um, so, what happened? Oh, my senior year, right? Or end of junior year. No, it was end of junior year where I decided to try out for the band dance team again. Didn't catch my lesson the first time. Helping everybody else with the dance. Froze again. So I didn't make it. I did not make it again my senior year. My junior year. Sorry, my junior year. Because we had auditions then. So, it's kind of hurt. That I wasn't able to do that. But, now, I still was able to, experience the joy of being on I would say the basketball dance team, right? And our coach at the time, she would have us do other performances at like colleges and stuff, and ooh, that was so much fun. Of course, she kept an eye on us, so we couldn't really talk to the college boys, right? She had tight. No, come on up. No, they in high school. When we would go up to those performances, but that was, I don't know, that was just a beautiful experience. So, I take a hit in the chest again for not making the team, for freezing like I did, which was disappointing. So it was like there were always moments where the anxiety would take over and I forgot who I was. I forgot how talented I was. And that would just halt me. Like I don't know. I think it was like a period of feeling undeserving and just not good enough, even though I've proved myself time and time and time and time again, right? And that's the artist world anyways when it comes to auditions, when it comes to interviews, like you win some, you lose some, right? But if you lack confidence, please believe you cannot depend on other people to put that into you. You can't, you'll end up losing in the end, right? So, heartbroken. I was going into my senior year, and I would say that going into my senior year, I had a boyfriend, right? I think I had more than one boyfriend, but that's another story for another day. I wasn't doing nothing with nobody because I was still very sheltered. All my boyfriends was over the phone or in the little chat rooms on the AOL. Okay, that's what they were, or on Black Planet or MySpace. Okay, that's where they were at the time. And your senior year, you have so many, you put a lot of pressures onto you. You kind of have to balance the pressures of society, like get into a good school, SATs, good grades, graduate, all of that. Balancing that, trying to be a good student, trying to be a good daughter, but also your desires, your wants. I wanted to be able to go to parties, couldn't go to no parties. I wanted to be able to have a boyfriend, couldn't have a boyfriend until I was like 17, but even then, I couldn't do nothing with them. Um, like wanted to have a nice prom, have a nice prom date like that. Oh my gosh, y'all. That's another story in itself. I'm gonna have to save that for the next season. Okay? I'll put that on the Patreon. But anyways, let me focus. Sorry. But I'm trying to like walk y'all through the whole experience so you can kind of feel it, right? And see it, visualize it. But anyways, his senior year didn't make the dance team, but still was a part of the dance. Still was a part of the band, and we were still able to dance during halftime. So much fun. Um, got so many opportunities to perform with them, which was just, it was filling that board. I can't even lie. Like if the band did not dance, y'all, I wouldn't have been a part of it. I would not be a part of the band. Like, I won't put the instrument down. But anyways, so senior year, I decided that I wanted to do the talent show again, right? So I want to say during spring break is when we had our auditions, because the talent show was going to end up being after prom, and then after prom is graduation, right? In that order. So I'm still doing my thing on the basketball dance team, still doing my stuff on in band and things like that. And I'm thinking, okay, the same people I did it with, we're still friends. From ninth grade, we gonna do it again. Y'all, they always like, no, not this year, right? But I know somebody else that may want to do it. So there's these two girls that my friends like, okay, yeah, we don't want to do it this year, but this person, why don't y'all just do it together? So I don't know these girls. They strangers to me. They know each other, but I don't know them. So while we making up the routines, they kind of like gang up on me, like a lot. And I ain't like that, but being who I was at the time, like very humble, you know, um, I don't know, like bullies can often, I would say, I wouldn't say they bullied me, but when you're faced with that type of adversity where you feel like you're by yourself and you're misunderstood, it can kind of play off of your own insecurities that you're trying to hide from people, right? And high school is the perfect place for people to be able to point out your stuff and show it to you and use that against you. And, it's traumatic, you know? So I felt alone, but I was determined to still do this talent show, right? And trying to balance the whole SATs, all this stuff in school, just a lot of pressure. But I wanted to dance, okay? Um, I wanted to dance, and it was just so difficult. Like I didn't understand the time why stuff wasn't coming easy for me. It was just so hard all the time. Even my experiences on the dance teams, it was just still it was still very hard. Like my coaches were hard on me, except for the last one. She wasn't as hard. But the other ones, like it was just so difficult at times. But um I was like, I couldn't understand why this thing that I love so much, why do I always have these, number one, these insecurities, but number two, it just seems like I always have somebody that's plotting against me. I didn't like it. So I remember I was in a relationship with somebody that was in another state, and he asked my mom, could he take me to prom? I was on the phone. That was who I'd be sneaking on the phone with every night when I was in school. And I never got to see him in person, right? And fast forward, he ends up standing me up for prom. So I'm trying to saying that he can't make it like the week of prom. that he's not coming. So my ex that I just couldn't stand was like, "Oh, I take him." I'm like, "No, I'll find somebody else." So, I looked and see like who can I talk to, who can I this, and everybody, even close friends that were homeboys, is like they couldn't make it because they had proms. That's what they did a lot of times. Proms were like on the same day. But I was like, I refuse to ask my ex. I don't care if he's available. I'm not going with him. But anyways, so I'm just like discouraged. So everything is pretty much last minute, right? And I say, okay, fine, I'm not going. And then my mom was like, no, you gotta go because you're gonna regret it. It's your senior prime. You didn't go to the junior prime. You gotta go. And we didn't really have money for a dress. So we found a dress last minute, got my hair done last minute. Um, my friends who were going, I think they had dates. Like my best friends, yeah, they had dates at the time, but they lived closer to the school. I didn't live in the area at the time. And y'all, it was just too much. Like I was fighting with the darn dance team. I was darn my prom. It was just a lot. It was just very heavy stuff happening at the same time. Okay. So I'm gonna make a note right now that we gonna stop right there. Okay. I sure hope I'm not boring you guys. Hope y'all aren't annoyed. I know this is gonna touch somebody. So we're gonna stop there and we're gonna save part 2 for the finale. I'm going to make a note that I stopped at prom preparation. Okay? So y'all stay tuned for this story. I promise. Listen. It's going to be worth the wait. It's worth the listen of the full story. Okay? It is. And I'm going to see y'all in 2 weeks for the finale, and I'm gonna wrap up this story and give y'all some encouraging words, and I'm gonna be on hiatus. Okay, I'm gonna be on hiatus till season 3. All right, so make sure y'all don't miss this. Okay, all right, don't forget to live and be great, and tune in for part 2 in 2 weeks.
The Live and Be Great podcast will be airing every other Friday. If you have truly enjoyed this podcast, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving Live and Be Great a chance. Please feel free to share, like, give a review, subscribe on whichever platform that you're listening to right now on iTunes or Apple Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, as well as Google Play. The Live and Be Great podcast is strictly crowdfunded, so if you are interested in becoming a supporter, you can click the link in the description, or you can go to liveandbegreat.com and scroll to the bottom and donate to the Live and Be Great podcast today, so I can continue to give you good and motivational content. Thank you all for listening, and don't forget to give yourself permission to live and be great.